Hey, welcome back. Today we got something a little bit different for you guys, and we're going to go over something that we've been doing for probably, I think, the last 3 years now. And my brother, we're out at his house today, and he actually has set up a race course in his back field. Ever since my nephew has turned 16, they've been doing this race, and for his birthday, he gets him and all of his friends, and they find old beater cars, junk cars, and come out and do some modifications to them. So today we're going to take a look at some of these cars. We're going to go over some of the things that these kids have done and they're doing. And mind you, these are 16 to 20-year-old kids now, and they've actually learned to work on cars, work on welding, and doing all kinds of different things like that. So here's one of the cars. I believe it's a Honda Accord, and it's been through the race for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. And they try to do everything they can to fix them up and at least make them get around this track. And as you can see, they all put the wire screen in the front windshield for stones and rocks, side netting for safety, and occasionally you got to have a wind chime in here. They work on their hand at painting and trying to figure out how to do, you know, a little body work, get these things all touched up. Again, window net on the driver's side, and they do some work on the motors to make them at least keep running. And most of these things were basically heading for the scrap pile. Here we have another one. And you'll have to pardon the wind noise, but something kind of interesting with this one is he's taken the exhaust and cut it out from underneath it and run it up through the back and put a stack on this thing. So a lot of it is, you know, for fun, and that's what they do. And this one happens to be my oldest son's car, and it's a Chevrolet Cavalier. Got all the windows out of it, front windshield out of it, and you can see how muddy and messy it is inside of here. That was from the past couple of years. Alright, so now we're at my youngest son's car, and do you remember what this car was, Hunter, before it got turned into a race car?
It's a 2002 Honda CR-V.
It looks like you've got some big 20-inch rims on it, and you've put some hood scoops in it. And can you explain maybe the paint scheme on this?
So I have the pink on the car for just a base color because I'm going to try and make a watermelon, I guess. I'm going to do probably the lower half of the body green and then have black spray paint for the seeds on it.
So this particular car Hunter and I worked on, was it last year, the start of last year's race? And we actually took and cut the back half to make it kind of look like a mini truck. And when he did that, I said, absolutely no way are you driving this thing without some kind of rollover protection in it, seeing that you cut the roof off it. So we found an old Jeep roll bar, and we welded that in, got the roll bar all welded in case it should ever roll over. And then something that Hunter and his buddies did was rather unique. He brought the exhaust up out of the floor, and as you can see, it comes up here to a very large garbage can. And why, you ask? Well, have you ever seen those big diesel trucks that have the huge exhaust tip on it? I think he might have been making fun of them, I don't know. So there's where the exhaust comes out, and apparently it's still a garbage can, but it does sound pretty funny. It gets a lot of the reverberation and vibration. He had to do a lot of serious work on it because last year this rear tire here, it broke, and what did it do? Spun out, tipped outwards.
The brace that's attached to the frame of the car for the wheel completely ripped out.
Because it's pretty well rotted underneath. I mean, most of these cars would never pass inspection again. But if you take a look at what they did to fix this thing, is they had to brace up that back strut link, and they put all thread in it, and came around here to a beam in the floor and bolted that in to try and hold that back. And granted, it might not make it around the track 3 times or 1 time, but if it doesn't, why, they still had fun and learned a little bit about what they were doing. All right, so we've come in the garage now, and there's a couple more cars in here. And this particular car was built up to look like Lightning McQueen from the movie Cars. And that was one of the ones that my brother picked up, and they run around. And I wanted to show you this particular car, and my nephew Kyle here. He's the one that's going to be running this particular vehicle. And what is this car, Kyle?
So I designed this after the Golf livery on the Le Mans winning GT40 and all their other cars.
What is the vehicle, Kyle? What car is it actually?
This is I think it's a '96 Toyota Camry.
Got
overheated last year, so hopefully this year it doesn't.
Yeah, because this car was black last year, wasn't it? Or okay, that's what I thought. So they come out and paint these things all up, tape them off, and he's got some hood scoops and some vents that he's put in this thing. He's got the screen in it, the window netting. He's got here's a interesting little thing. The exhaust, again, kind of a theme here. The exhaust comes up out of the floor.
Took that was off one of my dad's old Ford diesel trucks.
And it stuck out the side. And there's the exhaust coming out the side of the rear on that. And what did you say that exhaust pipe's from?
One of my father's old diesel trucks.
It's just a piece of old pipe laying around, and cut it up and throw it in there. So who's been doing all the welding around here? Is that you?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, and how you learned to weld just by messing around here, and I guess also maybe explain to the viewers watching this what you're going to school for and where you're going.
I'm going to the University of Northwestern Ohio for high performance motorsports, and I just completed one of my welding classes over there, and just got into TIG welding, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, so Kyle's a motorhead, and I think it comes natural from his father and his grandfather and everything else. So he's working on this car. He's getting ready to tape off his door to put his number on it. Another one here that still needs, I think he just picked this one up here the other day, so it needs the windshield taken out, needs a little work done on it. They'll probably rip all the seats out. And mind you, they'll have all this in probably 2 or 3 days. They'll have it completed because it's Wednesday today and Saturday's the race, so they've got to get this thing all prepped and ready and everything they want to do and paint it up. And then I think we got one of the last cars here. We're working on it. And you can tell there's dents all through these things. They've been out racing for the past 3 years and trying to make sure they keep the same cars running.
3 or 4 years that car.
This door doesn't close either.
Oh, the door doesn't close, so they'll probably have to strap it shut or whatever. So again, another one of those. They must have all had this crazy idea. So they put dual exhausts coming up out of the back, and welded some chrome stacks on these things.
Last year was exhaust, this year is paint job.
So you can see some other things that they've done to these is when the grill falls out or gets ripped out, they put this chicken wire or this wire mesh in here, and what that does is helps keep the rocks and the stones from going through and busting up the front radiator. And he's actually done a little painting under the hood too, it looks like. So painted the whole engine compartment blue to match, and valve covers and all of that. Pretty neat. All right, so we're kind of back to this car again, and I wanted to show you something kind of fun that we did a couple of years ago. And these cars have a windshield washer squirter for them. So we've removed that and added a little bit of line. And if you take a look up here on the top of the roof, go ahead and give that a squirt. What that does is if you're at the starting line side by side with somebody, you can give them a little wash down. And then if you got somebody close behind you, we ran another windshield washer line back here, and it's tucked into the tail light somewhere. So go ahead and give that one a squirt, Hunter. That thing squirts, I'll bet, 10-15 feet back. So if you're not suspecting it and you get splashed with water, it's coming out of the windshield squirter bottles. Well, I don't know if you can hear that thing rattling. So just to give you a little bit of a heads up on what these things and these kids are doing and what they're learning. It's more of a learning experience than anything. They're getting practice at tearing cars apart and taking wheels off and fixing carburetors and engine components and welding and all that stuff. So it's a very good education, as well as a lot of fun. And they're actually learning how to drive a little bit in the sloppy, muddy, slippery conditions. And we'll go over all that stuff when the day of the race is here. So here we are, and today it's Kyle's birthday. Kyle, put your hand up so we know where you're at. Kyle's back here. We've already got one race down and many more to go as long as the cars hold up. So we got how many cars here? 8 of them today? This is all the group of drivers, and I'm sure we'll have the girls race later and they'll all hop in there. All right.
My car's gonna get broken.
You going with the ride with your brother?
Yeah.
You guys gonna win?
Yeah, so.
All right.
What's a man got to do to touch a woman like you? What's a man got to do to get a woman like you? If I have to beg, or if I have to plead, or if I have to fight, or if I have to bleed, or if I tell a lie, or if I speak the truth, well, tell me, baby, what's a man got to do to get a woman like you? What's a man got to be to make his woman see? What's a man?
A little hot in there, huh?
This might be a little.
Did you ever let it up off the floor?
I raced to win.
Yeah?
Racing to win.
Oh, good. Hey, Matt. Robin's racing or what?
Robin's racing.
Hey, Hunter. I think your rear tire and stuff's coming apart.
Maybe a little.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, a lap and a half in, I lose power, so I just pulled the ABS fuse.
The muffler bearing? You working on the muffler bearing too?
Yeah, I put some blinker fluid in it.
Okay, well, as long as you got blinker fluid, it should run fine.
We'll see.
I'd like to thank Adam helping me do some filming today. So he's throwing a couple things on, and he's got his family here. He's got Anderson making sure none of the Doritos go to waste, and his wife Lana. Might have a little bit of some rowdy fans here at today's race.
Let's go, baby! Yeah! Yeah! She just needs some more coolant. She's fine.
I know what's wrong with it.
She's just angry. Doesn't have any gas.
What?
I got no gas in it. No gas.
All right, so we got a bunch of beat up cars now. They're all really starting to show their wear. Some of them are blowing tires off. Some of them are losing their fenders, their hoods, and everything else. But these kids are having an absolute blast. Running around and just learning everything there is about maintaining cars, working on cars, learning how to drive them in conditions like this, and just racing and doing all kinds of things. And then everybody else up here from friends and family all hanging out and watching. All right, so we got our youngest racer hopping in here just for a quick ride.
Hey, can you say Lightning McQueen?
Say it.
McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Anderson, if you don't know, is Adam's kid. Neighbor Adam.
Well, you ready?
Wait.
Ready?
All right, it's gonna be noisy.
Whoa. Ready?
Okay, go slow.
Here, I'm gonna hold on to you like this, okay? Want to keep going? Yeah?
Hey, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you ride with Lightning McQueen? Yeah. All right, so we got some fans and girlfriends going here. Apparently they're doing what? Instagram or Snapchat or what?
A little of both.
A little of both. So they're all taking selfies on the race cars. All right, Jordan, maybe you can tell me what happened to your blue car out here.
It blew off the tire off the passenger side. There's
Yeah.
the wheel there. Busted up the wheel and then had to drive probably 300 yards on gravel rock.
Yeah, because there was no way you're pulling off the track, right?
No.
There's no stopping. Just keep
No.
going, and I think you were plowing up that track better than a set of discs could do it.
I was gonna say, I didn't realize it was off besides the steering. The steering
Yeah.
was the only thing.
Well, it should have felt like it was on a rail on that front tire.
Yeah.
Huh? All right, Kyle, tell me what you're doing here. What happened?
Clean out the radiator a little bit.
Clean
Got
out the
hot,
radiator?
just like every other year.
A little bit warm, huh? It's just steam fried mud. So how did you make out this year?
Pretty good. I won a couple races.
Hope we could show some people out there what a bunch of young kids can actually do nowadays, and figuring out vehicles and cars and working on them and making them go.
It's definitely a very good experience.
Yep, good. So here's a little bit of the aftermath. You can see maybe just a little mud on these things. There's an awful lot of mud in there that goes through the cheese grater out front. It's just covered in here. All right, Matt, so how'd your car make out this year?
Perfect.
Perfect?
Not a single thing wrong with it after
Not-
the race.
Actually, that doesn't even look like there's a single scratch on it. I mean,
Oh, she's a beauty.
the panels and everything, they look like they've all got proper factory gaps still on them, and everything looks pretty darn good.
She came out pretty nicely.
Yeah, and this is how many years for this car now?
Well, technically only 2.
2 years on this? You ran it last year? And,
I ran it first year
yeah?
and took two or 3 years off.
That's right, because you were, I think you were gone in reserves or something. Yeah, well, thank you for your service. So again, we got another one here, and they all kind of look the same inside. Nothing but mud everywhere. One of the fun things is we try to get everybody involved in this. So the moms get to drive the cars, the girlfriends hop in, or the girls and everything. So they all get a chance to either drive or ride, whatever they feel like doing. So it's usually always a really good time. All right, so I got Parker here, and for some reason you don't have a car with you. I don't know whether you walked back or hitched a ride, but what happened?
Yeah, I managed to get a ride back. I think I might have blown a head gasket. I'm not sure. The car's definitely running a little hot. A little smoke coming from the engine bay. So we're gonna let her sit for a couple minutes and come back and then go from there.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap up the video. We got a lot of filming done today. A lot of really cool drone footage and all that. So I've got Kyle here with me, and again, this was for Kyle's birthday. They do this. They've been doing this this will be the 4th year now.
Yeah, this is the 4th.
So I guess, Kyle, what's the best part about doing this? What do you like the most about it?
The racing's definitely a lot of fun. Everybody has a lot of fun out there, but I think the best part is getting the cars prepared and learning how they work and trying to figure out the little ins and outs of what makes them run and what's the best competition.
So if you guys have given up hope on all of our youth, there's still a handful of them left that don't mind getting a little bit of dirt under their fingernails and having a good time and still going out and doing these types of things. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment about what the best part was, and share the video. And maybe stick around, keep an eye on the channel. Maybe a year from now we'll have another one to see which cars made it through. So again, thanks for being here, and we'll see you again.